A weighted voting system is any formal arrangement in which voters are not necessarily equal in terms of the number of votes they control. When I think weighted voting system, I think school system. Okay? When we're in the school system, who has all the power?
Me.
Superintendent. Okay? Mr. Kreisky has all the power. Now, granted, he's got a board that helps him vote, but ultimately the decision's going to end up being his. Okay? In this school right here, who has all the power? Miss Curry has all the power. Okay? Under her is all the APs. Okay? Under them is going to be like your guidance counselors and all that. Then your teachers. And then, unfortunately, all of you. You get no decision.
Power to the people.
Okay? No power to the people in this. Okay. So, what happens here is one voter has some number of votes. Okay? So, you could have 17 votes. You could have 22 votes. One thing about your votes is if you control 22 votes and you say yes, all of your votes have to go towards it. We can't split it up and put 11 with yes and 11 with no. Okay? That's another thing. Your questions are yes or no voting system, which involves exactly 2 candidates. Yes or no. Okay? Do you want pizza for dinner tonight? Yes or no?
I had pizza Saturday.
You had pizza Saturday. I had Chinese last night. I was craving. I couldn't help it. Okay? So, we have some key elements to a weighted voting system. We have your players. In other words, your voters. Okay? You have voters. Your voters are going to be distinguished by P sub 1, P sub 2, P sub 3, so on and so forth. Okay? So, P sub 1 represents player 1. P sub 2 is player 2. What are we playing? Some Madden on the Xbox One, I got you. I mean, we can, whatever. Okay? Your weights. Each player has a weight. This is the number of votes the player controls. Okay? So each person is assigned a weight, depending on how important they are. Okay? Tomorrow we'll start talking about dictators and dummies and veto power. Okay? Your weights are written like this. W sub 1 is weight 1. W2 is weight 2. All the way to WN. You should have as many weights as you have players.
What does N stand for?
N's just however big we need to go. So if you have 7 people, your last one would be W sub 7.
Okay.
If you had 20 people, it would be W sub 20. It distinguishes that you can continue going.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I bought my husband an Xbox One for Christmas. We about to get down on some Madden? That's all I know how to play. All we have is Madden. Quota. The quota is the minimum number of votes. Needed to pass a motion. Okay. Another way to say this is how many votes you need to win.
What?
Please stop with the individual conversations because then you're going to get confused when I do this. And then you're going to have questions later. So, your quota is what I need to reach to win. Okay? Your summary of your weighted voting system, it's going to look like this. Q is going to be the first number you see. That's your quota. Then you're going to see a colon. And after that, you're going to see a number and another number and another number and another number, so on and so forth. This is weight for player 1. The second one would be your weight for player 2, player 3, and player 4.
Thank you.
Questions so far? Okay, let's see if we can do these examples. Okay, example number 1. How many players are in this example? How'd you get 6? This is the weight of player 1, weight of player 2. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 players.
You got 13 votes?
That's your quota.
Oh,
B is asking what is the total number of votes. How'd you get that? You add them all up. So 7 plus 4 plus 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. I've got 20 total votes. Okay, there's 20 total votes to give away. What is the weight of player 3? It's a 3. Player 3 is here. Now, Trey, what is the minimum number of votes you need to pass this motion? 13. This is your quota. Okay, and your quota this time is a 13. Okay, part E says, which of the following are winning coalitions? So, they're saying if I take the weight of players 1, 2, and 3, and I put them together, will it win? Let's see. What's the weight of player 1? 7. Player 2? Player 3? What do I get when I add that up? 14. Did that meet my quota or more?
Yeah.
Yes. So this one wins. Okay. If you can add up the weight of all the players and it hits that quota or goes above it, it's an automatic win. So, the next one. Huh?
Almost like point.
Not really. I mean, yes, in terms of points, but not really. Okay, the next one, I'm putting 1, 3, and 4 together. So I'm doing 7 plus 3 plus 3. That gives me 13. Guess what? They win too. Number 3, we're doing 1 plus the weight of player 4, which is a 3, plus a 2.
11.
12. I was just going by what Mr. Burleson said here. 12. So they lose. Okay? They're losers. And finally, the last one, I put 4, 3, 3, 2, and 1. That gives me 13. So this last one wins. Question. Try example 2 real fast, and then we'll go over it. Don't worry, you guys will get all excited about next chapter. Yeah, Mom. Fine, I won't bring you in food. We won't eat Pop-Tarts and cookie cakes and Jolly Ranchers.
Why not have a cookie cake?
Oh, no, yeah, we're doing
Don't forget too,
it. I'm done.
your project deadline. Your question and answers have to be turned into me by Friday.
This way?
Yes.
Question in?
All I need is your question and the answer choices you're giving me. You do not need to ask anybody yet. I just need the question you're gonna ask them and the choices you're gonna have them write.
Oh, okay. I'm still working. Oh, no.
Okay. Taking a look at this example. How many players do I have in this one? There are 7. What is my total amount of votes? 43. What is the weight of player 3?
6.
What's my minimum number of votes? 31. Okay. Looking at my coalitions, does number 1 win?
Yes.
Yes.
Number 2 wins.
Number 2 wins.
The rest loses.
And the rest lose?
Yes.
Fantastic. Anybody not get win, win, lose, lose? You need to go back over it. Hey. All right. So, just like in plurality with elimination, okay, where you had to find the majority of the votes, you had to have more than half. Well, the smallest size of your quota is your minimum, okay? This also means smallest. You need to have more than half the votes. So, if you have 40 votes available, more than half,
21.
you need 21, okay? If you have 100 votes, you need 51. You need more than half. The highest quota you can ever have is less than or equal to the total number of votes. Okay, so again, if I only have 40 votes available between all the people that are in the weighted voting system, that's the highest my quota can ever go. If you give them 42, will they ever be able to win? Okay, there's no way possible to win. So, example 3, we need to talk about percentages first. Okay. So, my quota is 31.
32.
How do I find out the percentage that this quota is? We need to add all of this up first. So plus, and we get 43.
31 divided by 4.
To find your percentage, you always take what you're trying to find the percentage of divided by the total,
0.73.
which is 72%. It should come out to be 0.7209. So then if my quota is 26, what percentage of the votes does this represent? So now I'm trying to find the percentage of 26 divided by your total, which is 43. This is 60% of your votes. Fantastic. Okay. Oh, here comes that fraction. Woo. If 2/3 majority is needed to pass a motion, what is your quota? How do I find 2/3 of a number? What? Okay. I mean, I guess you can, but then once you divide it by 3, then you have to add 2 together.
Would it be
16.
There's a way to do it, just one step. 43 is your total amount. Okay? Times what? Multiply by 2/3. Okay? Think about it. If I have $100,
28.
If I have $100 and I want to know what 1/4 of that is, we can multiply 100 by 1/4, and that's $25.
That's 28.
What did you get as a decimal? Because I have 27.
That's 27.
Oh, never mind. I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm looking at example 4. You said you got 28 point what? 28.6. Okay, I can never go less than this number, but it needs to be a whole number.
27. I mean 29.
29. I need 29 votes to pass a motion if I need 2/3 majority. Right, you can't have 0.6 of a person. You can't have 0.3 of a person. Even if this would have come out to be 28.3, you would have still moved it to 29. You can never go lower.
Oh, yeah, 'cause you can't.
You can't go lower.
Can't go
Because
first.
if this is my amount, 28's not going to cut it. If 28.3 is my amount, 28's not going to cut it. Okay, so it always has to round up if it's a decimal. We're not killing off anybody. Oh my goodness. Okay, this time they don't give you a quota. They want to know what's the minimum quota that I can put in that spot. What's the smallest number I can put in that spot? How do I find it?
Add up all of them.
Add up this. Give me a grand total. How many votes are available in this election? 40. I'm trying to find the minimum, the smallest number that I can replace that Q with.
21.
So 40 divided by 2 is 20, and you always need more. You need 21. You're trying to figure out what number you can stick in for that Q. Okay? This time, I want a quota that needs more than 3/4 of my votes. So the first thing I need to do is find 3/4 of my votes. What's 3/4 of 40?
30.
Is that my answer?
No.
Why?
Go up.
Why?
31. Gotta have.
What? It says more than.
Yeah, dude.
Okay? 30 stops me. That's 3/4. This says more than. So we're going to have to round up. You need 31. Okay? What quota represents needing at least 5/8 majority? So let's find 5/8 first. What's 5/8 of 40?
5.
25. Can I stop there?
Yes.
Why?
Says at least.
It says at least, which means I can stop at this number or it can be higher. So we can stop here. The last one says what quota represents 2/3 majority? So we need to find 2/3 of 40, which is what?
6.
26.6. It's going to have to go to 27.
Oh,
No, we've got the front side of the neck and we're done. We've already kind of talked about these. Yes. 2 came from this definition. A quota must be more than half of your votes. So we have to cut them in half first and then round it up. Any other questions before we finish this last page? Okay. Last thing we need to talk about is coalitions. This is any set of players that join together and vote the same way. Okay. Any set of players that join together and vote the same way. So let's say we're voting for Prom King. Okay. And Trey and Michael and Jeremiah have decided They want
You shouldn't even say it, Michael.
they want a manual. They want a manual to be prom king.
Who said that? Y'all tell me he said it.
They're gonna vote Emmanuel for prom king. Okay, so because they all voted the same way, they would be in the same coalition.
Boy, you just got to play. I'm about to burn you up, boy.
Can Andy be in a coalition by himself?
No.
Yeah. If Andy says yes and you all say no, Andy's a coalition all by himself.
Sure.
Okay? So your coalition, the size of it can be one player.
Size matters. Bigger the better.
To all players. The size of your coalition can be one person, 2 people, 7 people, 77 people, 142 people. Okay. We have one special coalition. It's called your Grand Coalition. This is all of your players together. And the way we write coalitions, their weights are going to go inside of those little fancy brackets that I can't draw. So usually you just get squiggles out of me. Okay. I can't, I can even take my time and it's still.
Oh, you're doing it backwards.
No, I'm not. There's 2
That's
of them.
one right there. Right.
Right.
That was
One goes one way, one goes the other. I mean, that's not bad, but I don't have time for that. I just squiggle it. Okay, we already talked about these bottom 2. As long as you have a total that is greater than or equal to your quota, it's a winning coalition. And if we have one that is less than, it is a losing coalition. So, given these examples, they want us to find all of the winning coalitions. So, the way I usually start this, 15 is my quota. Can any of my players win by themselves?
No.
No, nobody has 15 or more. So let's start pairing up in 2s. Who can I pair in 2s that give me 15 or more? 9 and 8.
Oh, any of them.
8 and 7. 7 and 9.
Okay? You said 8 and 7. And you said what?
7 and 9.
9 and 7. I always put them in order. Okay? Are there any more coalitions that we can write?
No.
8 and 7.
All of those are correct. There's one more we need to add here.
9, 8, 7.
9, 8, 7.
That's what I said.
6, 5, 4.
I was about to say that.
Okay. Do not forget your grand coalition at the end. Okay. If anything, the only one that you can have is a grand coalition. You can always have more, but you should at least always have your grand coalition. Okay. So number 2, I'm trying to reach 16. What can I pair together?
10 and 6.
10 and 6.
That's it. Grand total.
And the grand coalition. Number 3, I'm trying to reach 12.
8 and 4.
8 and 4.
6.
8 and 6.
Grand total.
And the grand coalition. The grand total.
Oh.
Anybody lost with these examples?
No.
It's low key easy to
Low key easy. I like that.
Oh.
And see, this is still with voting, but this is a different type of voting. So if you didn't understand chapter 1, you don't have to go back and figure it out before you start to understand chapter 2. That's what I really like about history. Okay, number 4, what do we got?
4, 3, 2.
4, 3, and 2.
And then the total. Or whatever. 4, 3, 1.
Don't forget 4, 3, and 1. And then, yes, your grand coalition. What about number 5?
Oh.
All of them together.
So you just write the grand one there.
Yep. Nothing else wins. Take a look. What's my total when I add this up? 10. Okay. If I take away any player, it loses. So your only option is your grand coalition. Finally then, number 6. 20 can win all by themselves.
Big.
We'll talk about that more tomorrow. Player 1. Yes, ma'am.
Can I sit Maria Humphries for just a minute?
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay. We'll talk about this more tomorrow, but a player that has all the control that can win entirely by themselves is called a dictator. Okay.
You also put grand coalition.
Okay. So I can also pair 20 and 8, 20 and 4, and then all of them. Okay. Questions? Chapter 2 is not too bad, right?
Where's the homework?
Where's the homework?
So we done with this?
Yeah.
The homework?